the elevator key I shouldn't have. The key wasn't a key so much as a promise disguised as plastic. Black oval, no logo, copper coil visible under the surface if you held it up to the light. Someone had taped a piece of masking tape to its back and written, in a neat librarian's hand, "Sky Lobby." It was sitting on our kitchen island at 6:12 a.m., sweating a ring onto the wood like it had earned the right to be heavy. "I didn't put that there," Alma said, barefoot in one of my shirts, hair caught in a knot that meant she planned to be taken seriously by bad news. She runs a tiny nonprofit that sues elevators. Not literally, she sues landlords who use broken elevators as eviction tools. I manage reputations for people who think honesty is an aesthetic. Between us, you'd think we'd be immune to surprises shaped like access. "It opens the elevator at the bellwether," I said, rolling it between my fingers. "Sky Lobby is their members-only floor." "I know what it is," she said. "I'm asking why it's in our kitchen." Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. A photo, my hand holding the same black oval against the panel in the bellwether's elevator. Caption, "Bring it back by noon." K, Alma asked, reading over my shoulder. "Kira," I said, "Bellwether's head of experiences. She collects utility like other people collect art." Alma took the fob and set it in the sink like a utensil we didn't trust. "Did you go there last night?" I was home, auditing our budget and pretending the dog-eared receipts were flirting with me, I said. "You were at the clinic board until 11. We assembled in the same bed at 11:27 and insulted the city's ability to be quiet." She blinked once, smile trying to live and failing. "Then we're already in a story someone else wrote." "Say it," I said. "Honeysuckle," she said, and the stupid word turned the room back into ours. Ridiculous, ours. It snips the wire to panic every time. "The bellwether sits on the river like money learned to float. Its elevators are polite machines that pretend they've known you your whole life. On most days, the Sky Lobby stops on 38 only if you present a fob and a face that has been taught to be recognized. On nights like last night, if Kira left a door open on purpose, it stops for anyone who can be a useful witness." I texted back, "I'll bring it. Why did it visit me first?" 3 dots. Then, because you know how to keep quiet until you need to be loud. Alma had a hearing at 9. I had a meeting at 10 where a donor was going to try to buy a sentence without verbs. We took the longest route to the bellwether because we think better when the city narrates its own arrogance. In the elevator, Alma tucked her hand into the back pocket of my jeans. I leaned into it like a habit. Kira met us on 38 with the smile of a woman who understands that curation is a form of control. Sky Lobby looked like a tranquilized airport lounge, bar of blonde wood, couches that tolerated hips but preferred elbows, floor-to-ceiling glass doing unkind things to the river. A handful of people who wear weekends like suits looked up and looked away. "I knew you'd bring her," Kira said to me, then to Alma, "and I knew you wouldn't enjoy being surprised." "I enjoy being handled even less," Alma said. Kira's smile didn't move. "You'll enjoy this even less than that," she said, and handed me a single sheet of paper. It was a seating chart. Names printed in a tidy font next to numbers. Table 3, Rain/DeVere/Kroll/U. The U was not mine, but the paper wanted it to be. A line under the chart read, "Tonight, 8:00 p.m. Sky Lobby. Future of Harbor South Salon. No press." "Who wrote the YOU?" I asked. "K," she said. "As in K Chambers. As in Chambers Civic. As in the person who convinced the council chair last spring that a ribbon equals a clinic." "K wants me to sit with them," I said. Kay wants you to say nothing loudly, Kira said. And she wants Alma to get an invitation she'll refuse, so you come without your hinge and they can pry. Alma exhaled as if someone had asked her to apologize to physics. Rains and Devere again, she said. We must be out of villains. Kira took the fob from Alma's hand and flicked it once like she was reminding it of its job. At 10 last night, someone used this to take the elevator to 38 without scanning a face, she said. At 10:12, your building's lobby camera saw a person who looks like you leave with someone who looks like you in a hurry. At 10:35, my staff found the fob on a bar napkin next to two glasses. At 6:00 a.m., it appeared on your kitchen island. Someone staged my night, I said. And then asked you to bring the prop to the theater, Alma said. That's why it came to you first, Kira said. You didn't make last night happen, but you can make tonight not happen the way she thinks. Why tell me, I asked. You're usually a paid neutral. I'm a paid realist, she said. Chambers and Rains are playing the kind of game that makes good staff into bad witnesses. I like my job more than I like their tricks. I could have said no. I could have told Kira to throw the fob off the side of the sky lobby and let the river eat its copper. I could have gone to my 10 o'clock and told a donor that you can't buy a sentence without verbs. Instead I said, invite us both, and Alma, to her credit and my relief, didn't flinch. Tonight, Kira said, dress like you own the floor. Do not connect to the Wi-Fi. Do not drink anything that arrives without a mouth attached to a story you already trust. That's a long sentence, Alma said. It's the only kind I speak, Kira said, and slid the fob back across the blonde wood. At 10, I sat with a man who believes the phrase public-private partnership is a vow. He wanted to fund a public art installation that would make a bad policy feel compassionate. He wanted me to make his sentence sound like a gift. I told him he could buy the paint but not the wall. At 11, Alma texted, we won. Elevator fine issued. Court laughed at calibration. I sent back 3 knives and a fork because that is our love language when law goes our way. At 7:54 p.m., we stepped into the Sky lobby dressed like problems. Alma wore a black dress that could cross-examine a room. I wore a suit that fit like someone had planned my shoulders. Kay Chambers did not bother to get up from the white leather sofa. She executed a half-smile as if generosity had counted her teeth twice. Jace, Alma, she said, as if we'd been summoned, not invited. You look like a couple who knows how to say no to the wrong people. We practice, Alma said and sat. Rains arrived with 2 men who smell like committees. Councilwoman DeVere floated in wearing a navy thing that called itself a gown and asked questions in a tone that made verbs feel indulgent. A waiter materialized with 2 glasses of something that pretended to be subtle. Alma's hand found my knee, which is how she reminds me to be the version of myself that doesn't get bored and dangerous. Harbor South needs a narrative, Kay said without preface. We keep letting engineers do the talking. The doorways are wrong. The light isn't flattering. We need a set piece. 2, 3, 4 stories. Open. Civic. Something you can cut a ribbon on that feels like a sentence everyone already agrees with. A library, DeVere said like she just invented it. Or a performance space. A clinic, Rain said, eyes glossed with the memory of a wing he hadn't built. We've made good progress on that. You've made good progress on the word, Alma said. We're asking you to make good progress on the door. Kay watched her, pleased by resistance the way some people are pleased by dessert. Escrow satisfied, she said, sliding a folder across the table. It was almost the same folder Sloan had produced a week ago, minus the assumption clause and plus a paragraph that offered a charity gala in exchange for our silence. Clinic first. Independent audits. No cameras within a block of the waiting room. I could taste Sloane's hand in the edits and hated myself for liking the work. Alma read. Her mouth moved once, the micro-expression that means she has found the hinge in a sentence. This clause, she said, tapping the page. Sky Lobby as community engagement space, available to neighborhood partners at the discretion of Kay's firm. That's your escape clause. You get to say you hosted the community, and we get to watch your calendar fill with donors and artists who agree with you. Kay smiled. It's good theater. It's an alibi, Alma said. Raines leaned in. We can do only so many things before the election, he said, bored by the difference between a hospital and a party. Pick your victory. We pick escrow and clinic first, I said. We pick no ribbon until the room is treating patients. We pick the Sky Lobby for the tenants' legal clinic meetings you usually pretend not to see. Councilwoman DeVere sipped something expensive and then lowered her glass. We can't afford to be saints, she said. If we get 3/4 and a picture that makes the paper, we win. You only win in the pictures, Alma said. It's the hallway that keeps people alive. Which is when the elevator chimed and the Sky Lobby learned that hospitality is a fragile mask. 2 women stepped out, each wearing the kind of dress that makes rich men write checks if they think it'll buy quiet. One was Kira. The other was Veronica Hale, a reporter who never met a closed door she didn't try at least twice. Kira's smile was neutral enough to be considered art. Veronica was a hunting license. I'm sure this room was posted, DeVere said, modest horror on her face. Kira, what is this? Unexpected, Kira said, which is hospitality for very planned. But I'm told we started community engagement early. Kay stood. Kay does everything like it's already on the right side of a headline. We're private, she said. Veronica lifted her phone. You were, she said, until you used public incentives to fund private views. Raines didn't blink. He doesn't give people the satisfaction of his eyelids. No photos, he said. Veronica kept smiling. No quotes, she said. I looked at Alma. We didn't need a sentence. We needed an action. I took the fob from my pocket and set it on the table between us like a truth we'd already decided to believe. This opens the elevator without faces, I said. It showed up in my kitchen this morning because someone wants me to bless a door that's been misbehaving. If I bless it, I want a name etched into the plastic. What name? Kay asked, amused because it's her hobby. The clinic's, Alma said, and the tenant's clinic. Kay tilted her head, considering the price of applause she'd already paid. Fine, she said, but no photos. Of the fob, Veronica asked, or of the people who use it to pretend they're doing good. DeVere stood, and for a moment I remembered why people voted for her before they learned to regret it. We can do the right thing and still hate how it looks, she said. Kira, schedule the elevator for public hours. Kay, accept their clinic-first demand. Raines, put another $5 million in escrow and stop saying ribbon like it's a sacrament. Raines stared at his reflection in the glass until it told him he would still be invited to the next ribbon. Fine, he said, like a man deciding to go to a wedding he can't skip. The room let out a breath. Sky Lobby went back to pretending it was a set. We didn't stay for the canapés. In the elevator down, Alma pressed me into the corner and put her mouth on the hinge in my collarbone, as if the city were a machine that needed to be re-lubricated. You were brave, she whispered. I wasn't stupid, I said, which is all the bravery I trust. Her laugh was quiet and mean in the way I love. You want to be stupider, she said, her hand finding my waistband like a verdict. We have a floor, I said. We have 2 floors, she said. Choose one. We chose ours. In the car, she swung a leg over me and reminded the world why we don't film ourselves walking through doors. It wasn't obscene. It was accurate. Proof that our bodies still speak a language no board packet can paraphrase. When she breathed, "Say it," I did, because that is the habit that saves us from our appetites. Honeysuckle. After on our couch, we watched the river pretend to be a negotiator. My phone buzzed. Kira, fob is renamed. Clinic etched. Hours posted. Watch for new tricks. Also, I like her. I typed back, I know. Sparrow, our favorite reporter with a savior complex and receipts, published a piece the next morning that didn't call anyone a villain and made everyone look like what they had been. Sky Lobby's calendar went public. The elevator's hours got posted, laminated, and taped with cheap clear tape that felt like a moral victory. Escrow landed with a thud in a trustee account. No one could pilfer without leaving a bruise too satisfying for us to ignore. DeVere took a photo at a clinic opening with her hair behaving and didn't make the story about her dress. Raines posed with a shovel and didn't break ground on anything except a habit. We taped the black fob under our sink behind the garbage bags where we keep the things that remind us which rooms are ours. Not a trophy, a receipt. If another one appears, we'll rename it and set the hours ourselves. We'll build a hinge where someone thought a lock would do. We're not pure, we're practiced. We still hate our password, we still use it. At 6:12 the next morning, there was nothing on the island but a mug and a grapefruit and Alma's hand on my wrist, thumb over the pulse that tells her whether I'm performing or telling the truth. "You trust Kira?" she asked. "I trust that she likes her job more than she likes any one client," I said. "And Kay?" "I trust that she'll install a new trick before lunch," I said, "and that I'll be hungry in time to watch her use it." "Good," Alma said, and kissed me like a contract neither of us would regret signing. "Because you still owe me for being brave." "I'll pay," I said. "With interest," she said. We're still here, making rooms misbehave, making bodies behave in the way we like, saying the word that embarrasses us into being honest, renaming fobs after the only clinics that actually open doors. The elevator will stall again. The river will try to convince us it's neutral. Raines will find his light. DeVere will try to deserve hers. Kay will invent a new noun. Kira will keep her neutral teeth sharp. Sparrow will keep receipts that look like art. And we'll keep that hinge in my chest where Alma can find it in the dark without fumbling. We'll keep bringing the props back to the theater, but we'll decide which play gets performed. We'll keep the fob, and the word, and the habit of only walking into rooms we intend to leave together.